Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to our webinar entitled Unleashing the Power of SharePoint and Secure Signing. My name is Raul Penirada. I'm an account manager here in New Zealand, and I am accompanied by Peter, my colleague from Australia, who has a lot of experience with SharePoint, and he's excited to tell us all about it. Peter, turn the floor to you.
You forgot something about the introduction. You should have said my attractive colleague from Australia.
Very attractive colleague from Australia.
Thank you. That's better. Okay. Now, thank you, Rahul. Thank you for that intro. Yes, I do have a lot of experience around SharePoint. I was actually, now I'm going to show my age. I was around when SharePoint was first introduced to the world. So it's kind of, it's grown and evolved and it became a system where everybody's using it. I mean, we know, OneDrive, for example, is SharePoint, and it's your network drives out there. So we went from having network drives all over the place for people to store their information to using SharePoint. And the beauty of SharePoint is it's a collaborative environment. It allows people to store things on there, manage their information. Someone goes away, the information's there, they can collaborate on it, so they can invite. I do it all the time. When I'm building a document, I'll invite Raul or I invite Mike or I invite Joseph. Hey guys, have a look at this document. Let me know what you think. Mark it up. Do what you think. Make changes. Bang, 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 bang. So we build the documents on SharePoint. So it's become a very, I would say that there's a lot, especially in government, there's a lot of government departments that use SharePoint, but there's a lot of organizations around the world that use SharePoint. And, the simple reason is that it integrates with the likes of, your Outlooks, your Office suite, all that, and it just becomes this environment that you work in, okay? And everyone's familiar with it, and it's made life easy for people to do their, because if you're a HR rep, you're not going to care what kind of technology is there. You just want to be able to smoothly go through your job and get things done. So I saw SharePoint evolve from being this clunky system when it first came out, where it worked and it didn't work, and it worked till it didn't work, to a place where it is now, something that people rely on to do their jobs. So it's a pretty cool evolution of SharePoint, and I love it. I think it's great because it allows you to share the information in the organization.
Share it easily.
Share it very easily. And it means if I go on holidays, Raul, guess what? You've got access to all my information. And there's that continuity, which is important for any organization, the continuity, not to mention the compliance part of it as well. Compliance and security part of it as well, because if it's stored in email or stored on your local machine, especially we started talking about HR. HR, stores a lot of personal information. Should that be stored in an email? Probably not.
That's not a good idea.
Not a good idea. And with all the scammers and hackers that are out there trying to get a piece of your email, and we're all susceptible to that. Let's be honest. It's a daily battle to get to secure ourselves. Whereas if you put it in.
So the question now, Peter, is how can we unleash the power of SharePoint using Secure Signing?
Thank you for reeling me up there, because I could talk till the cows come home, as you know. But yeah, how we unleash is that we let you stay in that environment, the familiar environment, which is, where you build and collaborate on your documents, okay? And what we've done is we've just put secured signing straight in that environment. So you don't have to leave that environment. You literally you get everyone in the organization to collaborate, build the document, a contract, whatever it is, and then when it needs to be sent out, you just send it out. Now, I love this question, okay, because it's a question I always ask, and it's a question I always think about, okay? It's like, when you're trying to get a document signed, how many clicks does it actually take for you to send that document out?
That's a good question, Peter. So yeah, let's ask the audience. how many steps or how many clicks do you think would it take for you to send the document out for signing using secured signing, or if you use another platform, that platform? So how
Just
many?
throw,
Please
throw
type it
some
on the
numbers.
chat.
Yeah, just throw
Yeah.
some numbers on the chat. I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks about how many clicks that actually takes.
I actually did it a while ago. I counted it. In fact, I actually listed down the steps. So if you were to ask me this question, Peter, I'd say around
Yep.
9 or 10 steps. So it starts off with what? It starts off with
Starts off with
saving
you
it
got
as
to
a
say,
PDF, like from Word. And then I need to open my browser. Once I'm in my browser, I go to securedsigning.com. So that's the third step. I click on resign. Once that window pops up, search for the file in that window. Sometimes I have to click on different folders. From there, I upload it, and then I add the signature box. So we're in 6 steps. To send it out, I need to type in the email of the recipient. Then I click on send. And from here, I got to wait for it to get signed. And once it's signed, wait for the email. And if I remember correctly, I got to look for that email, look for that PDF, save it, and then drag and drop it to the right folder because we need to keep it, in one place. So yeah, so these are all the steps.
isn't that interesting? It's like when you don't think about it, because the reality is we just go in and just do it on a daily
Mhm.
basis. So you get into this rhythm and you're doing all that, doing all that. What we've done with our integration eliminates practically 80% of that because you're literally in SharePoint, you're collaborating, you're building your document. Let's show them. Let's not let me because I'll talk about it, but let's just show them. Let's
All
do a
right.
quick demo
Yeah.
and actually show them how quick it is to
Mhm.
actually send a document out from SharePoint.
All right. So to send it out from SharePoint, you go to the right folder. So let's say you want to send out this NDA, select it, click on the 3 dots over here, and there you go. So secured signing is built right into SharePoint, and I want to send this out to a customer to sign, for example. Click on send for signature. Bam. We're still within the SharePoint environment, but we're using secured signing, and I click on we sign. So it's much, much quicker and less friction, as I mentioned. So from here, let's say we wanted to sign this portion. We just click on add invitee and put in the signature box. So let's say I want to send it to myself, and I put it over here. Let's make the signature bigger. And another thing that you can do, since we are in this secure signing environment, if you take a look at this document, there are some blanks, and if you want the signer to put information in these blanks, like the loss of, for example, let's say the state they're at, click on add form field, put in the text box, and just drag and drop it to where you want it to be. But I'm just not going to do that right now. Let's see. Let's remove this. And yeah, there. So let's say we're ready for it. I click on next, and it should go out for signing right now. And I'm done.
It's
And
gone.
I've
You're
sent
done.
it. Yeah,
So
done. And
once you
yeah,
once you're finished, you're back in SharePoint. You haven't left. You actually haven't left that environment.
mhm.
So you don't have to have
And
multiple tabs open. You don't have to have multiple browsers open. You just it's just gone off.
and now I'm going to show you the signing experience in case you haven't seen it. So this is what they're going to get. They click on the blue box and they need to put in the passcode, which you can configure depending on how secure you want it to be. You can use SMS if you want, or even ID verification, right, Peter?
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. One thing to remember, even though we're in SharePoint, the security around the documents and all the security is all still there. You're still working within the secured signing integration platform to provide you that authentication and security. So that we haven't skimped on that just to get into SharePoint. That's all still there.
And there you go. So the signing process is done. The signer will be receiving a copy, and of course, the sender as well. And if we go back to my documents, because this is where I sent it from, there you go. It is saved automatically on that folder. And this is what I just sent. It just arrived a few
And
minutes
this
ago.
is what,
This
and
one
this
I
is
did.
what, sorry, this is what I love. I get excited about this stuff because this is what I love about it. It's like you've sent it out for signing and it's come back into this environment. So you can just send a whole bunch of these out and forget about them, and
Mhm.
then when you
So
need to,
compliance.
yeah, it's all from a compliance, from a security point of view, it's all stored in the environment that it should be. So you're ticking all the boxes here and it's making your life a hell of a lot easier because the document just comes back to where it's supposed to live, not into your email, which means you've got that full life
Which
cycle of the document. So if you think of the life cycle of the document, the collaboration, the building of the document, it's all done in SharePoint. You've gone through that whole process. It's sent out, it's been signed, and then it comes back into the environment and you're done. Okay. And you haven't left SharePoint to do all this.
There you go. That's why one of the key features of our integration is, as mentioned by Peter, it streamlines the agreement process.
100%. Because, and you know what? In the world we live in, this is becoming more and more common. You're getting more and more documents sent out this way because e-signatures are becoming, everybody uses them these days. Most people use them, but I saw an article the other day that said, 2025 is when it's going to explode as well. There's going to be more
Mhm.
organizations using it. That's interesting.
All right.
Somebody,
Yeah.
somebody just put up
Yeah.
15 cents.
Yeah. More than what I listed. Wow. So with the SharePoint integration, definitely less than that. I wouldn't say three. I don't know, maybe five. But it makes it much quicker. And as you mentioned, it streamlines the agreement process. So I was in a conference last week, and one thing one of our customers mentioned about this integration is that it eliminates the friction and makes it so easy to use. And it's like one of their more popular um, platforms or services in the organization. All right. So
And
aside from that, what other benefits? Oh, yeah, Peter. Mhm.
think of the other benefit that just came to my mind. Think of the change management. New person comes into the organization. You need to get them onboarded. You don't have to teach them a new platform. It's like, here's SharePoint. Go do your stuff.
Yeah, that's a
You know,
very good
you've
benefit.
got,
Yeah,
if you've got casuals or part-time people, here's SharePoint. Go do your stuff.
yeah. So let's say you're from HR and there's a new person in your team. You could even use the secured signing templates within SharePoint to send out your document. So let me just show it out to you quickly. So for example, let's say you go to a SharePoint folder and let's say you have new hires and you need to get information from this person that you just hired. Go to that folder where it should be saved, click on the three dots and select the template. And assuming at this point your template should be ready, you just select the right one and send it out. So in my case, I want to send out the employee form. I click on send, it gets to them, they fill it out, and once they're done completing it, it should be saved back into the right folder where I sent it from. So that's
Hang
one
on,
of the
hang on,
benefits.
hang on. How many clicks was that?
I have no idea. I wasn't counting, but
I think it was
much
about.
quicker than going to the website.
I think it was about 3 clicks.
Could be. Let's see. Yeah, I went to the folder, right? Let's see. Let's go. My new hires, right? Went to the folder. One click, two clicks. You're right. 3 clicks. Oh my God. Well, but then you have to put in the name of that person, so
4
maybe a bit
clicks.
more. Yeah, yeah. So much quicker than 15 or 10
Yeah, but
that
imagine.
I
But hang
listed
on. Imagine
originally.
you're
Mhm.
onboarding or you're hiring, 5 people in one go.
So it makes it definitely much quicker.
It's the
So
same amount of clicks. The only thing you're going to be doing different is you're going to be putting 5 email addresses in.
mhm. And most importantly, it saves back to where you want it to be, and that saves a lot of time. Some people forget that, and of course, ensures compliance. Mhm. So another benefit is while sending out these documents, and I showed it earlier, is you can add extra form fields. So if you want to get information from the signer, you can add a text box. You can add checkbox if they need to check several options. So anything you can do in secured signing, you can actually do within the integration. Anything else to add, Peter?
No, I just saw a question come in, sorry, from Kevin.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
I want to answer questions as we're going because I don't want to
Mhm,
forget.
mhm. Definitely. Mhm.
How do you integrate secure signing to SharePoint if it's not already showing in
Ah,
SharePoint?
all
Piece of
right. So let me
cake.
show you. So,
Go to
mhm.
the Microsoft site and download the app.
Mm, yep. And if you can't find it there, you go to our website, integrations, and look for SharePoint. Where is that SharePoint?
We got a link from
Did I
here that will
spell?
actually take you there.
There you go. Like from here, and this brings you to the Microsoft link. Where is that? Oh, there.
Go
There
to
you go. So click on this one,
click on the thing,
and it brings
visit,
you to, yeah, it brings you to the Microsoft website
and there
and
you go.
install it.
And then you just got to click
That's it.
on get it now and you can install it. Obviously, you need to be an admin within the SharePoint environment to be able to install it. But yeah, it's as easy as that, Kevin.
Yeah. So that's easy, easy. And again, as we mentioned, everything in secured signing can be done within that integration, just like monitoring the signing process.
Yes.
Um,
I love the fact
so
that you
that's
can actually go into SharePoint and actually be able to just go,
yeah.
you can actually go and see the status of the document without having to leave
Mhm.
SharePoint once again. So that's the other thing. It's, you know, if you want to, it's still in the SharePoint site and you can see what the status is. And on the right hand side, as you can see, you've got options to actually send. So those little icons on the right hand side, you
Mhm.
can actually send a reminder to people as well if they haven't signed it yet. So you can
Oh,
go through
this one. I think it's
and send
expired.
a reminder.
Yeah, it's
So if
expired
they have,
already. So
yeah,
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 but
you
it
can
should be over here.
update it, send a reminder. So, and once again, you're still in the SharePoint environment. You haven't left the SharePoint environment.
So just go back, and we are back in SharePoint. Yeah.
Yep,
And
exactly.
another benefit, since yeah, as mentioned by Peter, since we are integrating the standalone secured signing service in SharePoint, is aside from monitoring the process, same thing. Your invitees can sign on the go. They don't need to create an account. Where can they sign, Peter?
They can sign on their mobile phones, their iPads, their computers. So if they're in a bus going to work and they get their HR document, they can click on it and sign it and giddy up, away you go. So it's just, and this is the thing, it just makes life so much easier in so many different aspects. It's like not only when you're working and building information, but because we've got that integration into, the mobile app, you know, it just
Mhm.
means you can get things done a lot quicker, a lot faster, and just a lot more secure because the security around, and I always talk about the security around secured signing because of the name, but because we are, I will boast that we are probably the most secure signing platform on the planet. Just the level of security that we put around the solution. If a document gets tampered, you know about it straight away. So there's no. So I think we spoke in our last webinar. There's a financial institution out of Melbourne that actually uses our solution for the simple reason that if something went wrong, they know they have all the evidence to go to court, and it can be undisputed that they signed the document. That individual signed the document. So
Now going back to SharePoint, Peter. One of the other key features, and we discussed this already, is this one. They're going to receive the copies of the signed document back in SharePoint.
which is massively important. If you talk to any of your compliance or records people in the organization, okay, they will love you for doing this because it means nothing gets left in email, okay? But it's not only that, it's also the fact that you can send it out and forget about it and know that it's going to come back to the right spot. So if you're about to go on leave for 2 weeks,
I'm going
guess
to
what?
Bali.
Yeah, you're going to Bali for 2 weeks. You can send all these documents out to get signed, and you can say, well, I've sent them all out, Pete. Can you just keep an eye on, make sure they all come back? I just got to check in SharePoint. I don't need access to Roll's email to check them. Okay, which is a beautiful thing because it's like it allows the business to continue operating even while people are on leave, or heaven forbid anybody gets hit by a bus. You know, you've still got those documents. You know, and it makes life a lot easier for the organisation. So business continuity is a big thing, and that's why this integration is so important, I think, for any organisation using SharePoint.
Yeah, it just works with SharePoint. So we've talked about the features right now. Let's now talk about where it can be used in an organization. So what are the different use cases? So for one, of course, you can use it for all contracts for purchase of goods, service, and works, right, Peter?
100%. We've got a lot of organisations, government departments that use our solution, that procurement department uses our solution to send all their contracts out. And for
Yeah.
goods and services. So absolutely. So imagine having all your contracts stored in SharePoint and being able to send them out. And you know what? These days it's all annual reviews of contracts. Just click on a button, send them out, get them reviewed. You know, here's the thing. You think about the process. You need to get it reviewed. You need to get it signed by a manager internally. Once that's all done, then you can send it out to the organization to get it signed. So it keeps that whole process within SharePoint when you're building, managing, approving, and then sending it out. It's all managed internally.
Yeah. So same thing for these contracts. You can use it for leases and licensing agreements. Another use case, Peter, and I think you have a lot of things to say here, is we can use this for HR.
Oh, 100%. HR they're wonderful. I love HR. Okay. But they're also the ones that send out all the policies, all the onboarding, all the, the timesheets, all the updates. And, HR is the one that's got to, continue to keep people up to date with what's going on in the organization in terms of a policy update. They also they do need to do the once a year reviews of people and make sure that people, from an ISO perspective as well, there's all that stuff that needs to go out. They're very heavy on sending things out. It's just part of their job, and they love that job. But the reality is, if we can make it easier for them to do that part of the job, then they can focus on the more important stuff that they need to do. And I think
Definitely, yeah.
does that.
Yeah. One of our customers here, they train apprentices. So from an HR standpoint, they have templates. And what they did was they created folders based on different regions here in New Zealand. And they just go to the right region/folder, then send the template out to that right person, and it gets saved back there. So it is easy and organized automatically. Another use case, Peter, legal.
Oh, everyone loves a lawyer. Legal, I mean, NDAs, contracts, all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're all, whether you've got to initial a document and then sign a document and get it approved, and then it goes out and then it's got to come back and then there's a revision. Well, think about it. When you're building a legal document, there's multiple revisions that happen because it's got to take, clauses out and all that kind of stuff. Building it in SharePoint and then sending it out and signing it 100%. It's a no-brainer. There's so much that you can do with that.
Definitely. And related to that, I think, and we mentioned this already for the first bullet point, is in organizations, procurement. This is a lifesaver, especially for the tenders, right, Peter?
Oh, 100%. I mean, the procurement is, they're constantly sending stuff out, constantly. And if they're storing everything in the one place, it becomes a no-brainer. and then, when you've got other people, well, the procurement works for other departments in an organization, okay? So if you need to keep track of all those different documents going out from all the different departments, you're going to store it. Chances are they've got multiple folders stored all over SharePoint. If they could just send it out, bang, you're done. It's a no-brainer. Once again, you're all playing in the same environment, which makes it a lot easier.
Aside from procurement, finance, you can use it there as well.
They're the guys that got the big wallets. Yeah, 100%. They've got to get sign-offs from different managers within the organization. So sending it out through there, getting it signed, and then sending it out to external if you have to, or maybe just an internal document. It's still, we streamline that whole process because we use SharePoint to actually drive that whole thing. And if anyone needs to go and find that document at any given time when they're doing budgeting, it's all in SharePoint.
And one use case that we've seen from a lot of our customers in the local councils is that they can use it for like the minutes of the meeting, right, Peter?
Oh yeah, when minutes of the meeting, absolutely. So councils have meetings once a month, once a quarter. They've got to put minutes together. They've got to get it out. Once they put the minutes together, it's got to be signed by certain people within the organisation. Once it's signed, then they can upload it up to the website so that the public has access to the meetings, or they need to send it out to certain people as well who sit on the meetings as well, who's requested it. So it's the whole Freedom of Information Act as well. You need to be able to have access to those documents to be able to give it to to whoever asks for it. Any of the constituents, when they ask for a document, you need to have it on hand to send it. If it's being stored in your email, it's not going to be able to get access, and you'll get smacked by compliance as well.
Well, thanks for that, Peter. Thank you for talking about all the different use cases. Now, that's our webinar today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. And I know there are some questions that popped up on the chat. And question, Peter, first question that came up is, how much does this integration cost?
It's cost $1 gazillion. No, it doesn't. It's free. It's all there's no extra cost. You buy secure signing, you get the SharePoint integration. There's no additional costs at all.
Yeah.
So if you came to me and purchased secure signing today, you could go and download the integration and get it up and running. No cost at all. We wouldn't charge you no charge.
Yeah, and we showed you how to get it, access it from the secure signing website. Another question came in, since we're talking about SharePoint, which is a Microsoft product. What other integrations do we have with Office 365?
Office 365, and this is one of the ones that I'm actually surprised that people don't know a lot about, is that we integrate with the whole Office suite. So if you're in Word and you're building a document in Word, okay, you can have a secure signing button at the top of the Word document, so you can actually send it out straight from Word rather than having to actually, it'll get saved in the SharePoint, but you could just send it straight out from Word rather than having to, go back to SharePoint and send it out from there. Just send it from Word. So we integrate with the whole Office suite of products, basically. So you can.
How about Teams?
And you can go, and by the way, if you go to the App Store, Microsoft App Store, and search secure signing, you'll see you can just simply download the app to integrate with secure signing. It's, once again, no cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How about Teams? There's a question. Do we integrate with MS Teams?
Not right now, but it's on the roadmap. It is coming. It is imminent. It's on its way, because that's going to add that extra collaboration level of being able to use Teams to actually, push things through an organization a lot faster as well, and make it a lot more efficient. So that's on its way.
One last question, Peter, because we're running out of time. What other document management systems do you integrate with? Because we showed SharePoint, but what other document management systems do we integrate with?
We do Open Text Content Manager. We do SharePoint. We do Magic. We do. Did I miss one?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So we integrate, and they're I suppose some of the mainstream ones is out there as well. I mean, there's some other ones out there as well, and we are looking at building some of the integrations in some of the other products as well.
Platforms.
But as you know, it takes time, and we're working on it, because one of the things we want to do is we want to be one of the most integrated solutions on the planet as well. So we're working on it.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you, everyone, for your time. We hope you appreciate how our integration with SharePoint can unleash the power of collaborations. If you have any questions, please reach out to Peter or to me. Our emails are on the screen, and we hope to see you on our next webinar. Anything else to say, Peter, before we go?
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for joining us, and yeah, feel free to reach out, email, call, whatever works for you. Ask any questions you like. Like I always say, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Just ask the question. Solve the problem. Let's solve the problems of the world. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, everyone. You have a great day. Bye-bye.